Welcome in Thursday morning here. Is it April 29th? Is the date correct?
I think so.
Yeah?
Double check. I'm running out of days, though, dude.
At some point, you got to hit it.
Yeah, and I don't know how many months are in every. I don't know how many days are in every month. So the end of the month, is there 31 days in April? I don't know. I know there's 20.
Is there 31 days?
30. No.
Yeah, I think there is 31.
There's a saying, but I don't know it.
30 days have September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31 except
I still don't know what that
February.
means.
Wow.
Yeah.
But what is it? I still don't know what that means.
It means how
30
many days are in the
half
month.
September.
30 days half September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31 except for February.
See, we were talking about cheating in school, and it turns out the only one person that doesn't learn something.
Welcome into the UDL here on this Thursday. It is the opening of the NFL Draft. We will talk NFL Draft. Mike Triplett. Mike Triplett will be here, who covers the New Orleans
Wait,
Saints.
what?
That was the
That's the
sound.
draft noise.
Okay.
Come get me, YouTube.
ESPN.com.
Damn copyright.
Mike Triplett, who covers the New Orleans Saints, will be here at 7:30 this morning. We'll talk to him about some of the moves that the Saints could be making. Marshawn Lattimore arrested over a week and a half ago. What's that mean for the Saints' first-round selection? Are they looking at cornerback? We'll ask Mike Triplett coming up at 7:30 this morning. Scott Woodward, LSU Athletics Director, is going to be here at 8 a.m. We will talk to Scott Woodward about his latest hire, his first hire, a home run hire, Kim Mulkey. Contract details revealed on Wednesday to Mulkey's contract. We will ask him about getting to that point, getting to the agreement with Mulkey. 100% capacity for LSU sports. That was announced yesterday. We will talk to Woodward about that decision and how they got there, coming up on this morning's Jordy Culotta show. Jump inside of the bunker. Jack's got finals. He's got a final today.
Yeah.
We were talking about the new age ways of cheating in college. Incredible. The ways that it has changed. I wish
Don't
that they
hate
could.
the player, hate the game.
Look, I'm just jealous that it's not leaked over to the mortgage industry yet.
With time, Jordy. With time.
I mean, you're at the point you gotta swallow some paper and spit it back
I
out.
mean, at this point, that could be the play.
Do you even have a Quizlet? Do you do that?
No.
If yeah.
Bro, we've been telling him about Quizlet for 3 months now, and he's like, I don't see
you have
myself
Quizlet
getting
in
it.
college?
Yes, of course.
Okay. If I didn't
You don't have to make them yourself. People make them for you.
Yeah,
Just use them.
If I didn't have Quizlet in college, I just wouldn't know what to do.
NFL draft prop bets. We'll talk about that coming up this morning on the Jordy Culotta Show. Pelicans last night fell at the end of the game. Did not get the foul call on Zion. I thought Zion's reaction was probably the right reaction. What's going on over there?
Yeah, what are you whispering like schoolgirls?
Sorry.
We're on a live broadcast here. Whispering is not the way that the medium is
Let me
supposed
on
to
the
be
show,
used.
Doc.
What's going on?
I'm trying to get him on the show, Doc.
Just share the document. Say it
I
out
did.
loud. Did you see the deal that Dan Levitard struck?
I mean, that's the model, huh?
That is the model.
is
What
the
did he just
model.
hit?
That is the model. $50 million from DraftKings to title sponsor the Dan Levitard Show, which is now going to be on YouTube. Going to be on Twitch. It's in podcast form. That is the absolute model. Speaking of gambling in Louisiana, we will talk to Ben Mintz. Mincy is in town. He's going to be in the UDL tomorrow. I'm going to be over at LeBear's tonight with Ben Mintz. We will be doing some draft day content from LeBear's over at the
Casino.
the casino. Yes,
The
thank you.
casino.
Yeah, come get us,
Thank
DraftKings.
It's like 45 mil.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, why not?
Need a little
generous.
seed money,
Like
dude.
15, bro. I mean, we can make it work. We can stretch it. We can make it work. So we'll talk all about that coming up here on this morning's Jordy Culotta Show. But I guess the big news yesterday is 100% capacity for LSU sports. Remember, every single day we're brought to you by Majestic Coffee, locally brewed down here in South Louisiana. All of the coffee here on the Jordy Culotta Show is Majestic brewed. Remember, you can pick up the grounds in as it's brewed in New Orleans, Louisiana, but it's all over the place. Check them out on social media.
DeliciousSips.com is the website where you can order from.
.com. And then everybody on the phone line this morning is compliments of our friend Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan over at Metropolitan Health Group. Real doctors, real solutions from those guys over there. And daily we're driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Remember, GEAUX Chevrolet.com. If you want a new car, you can stop in and see the lot over in Laplace, Louisiana. If you're looking for a used car, the newest used car lot here in Baton Rouge is off of Florida Boulevard with Go Express Auto Sales, newest member of the Go Chevrolet family, and powers us every single day. 100% capacity for LSU sports moving forward. Jacques Doucet yesterday at WAFB had it first, saying that LSU was planning to allow 100% capacity for all outdoor athletic venues starting this weekend. LSU baseball, of course, is hosting #1 Arkansas at the box. That'll start on Friday night. And Beth Torina, who we talked to earlier this week, her Tigers will host #8 Arkansas at Tiger Park beginning on Friday night. It is that's obviously huge news. We were talking about it last week. We've seen some sporting events start to pop up all over the country, and some of them go full capacity. Most namely, last weekend we saw an MMA fight in Florida, which it was sold out. Ton of people.
Looked like from a year ago.
Yeah, it did. It did. It absolutely.
Florida.
It absolutely looked
There's
retro.
no COVID there.
But it looks like COVID's leaving the Southeastern
It
Conference.
does look like that.
as well.
It does
I was
look
fine
like
with
that.
that.
or Louisiana. Kim Mulkey has come in and made a couple of money moves here. Quick, she tosses the mask on her opening press conference. Next thing you know, John Bell Edwards is lifting up mask regulations, and LSU's going 100% full capacity. I love this. I think it is time. It is time to live in a society where you have your own choices, man. This is the beautiful part of the country that we live in, right? I mean, I'm not going political and history buff on you, but I think that this is just who we are as a society. I mean, you have the power to make your own choices. If you want to go to the box and you want to be there amongst the fans and watch high quality baseball at a college level, then go do that. If you want to show up and you want to do it and keep your mask on and stay socially distanced, I think that there will be options to make that happen. If you're uncomfortable with the entire situation and you don't understand on how that decision was made and you don't want to go to the ballpark, don't go to the box. I mean,
that's what we've been saying all along. Like, don't do it if you're uncomfortable.
We have been saying that all along, but the rules and regulations have been limiting those options because they've been dictating on, just how we live. And I think it's now time to get to a place where we make our own decisions. We make our own choices. We don't need to be told or regulated on everything and everywhere that we go. I think that this is a sign of the times of things starting to work its way back into normalcy. Will there be some hurdles to jump over? Obviously there will be. But by football season, these things should be figured out. And come football season, we should be back to a much more normal way of life and getting out and spending money and making sure the local economy is thriving. And a lot of that is around sporting events in the fall and in the spring that, we can start going to if we believe that that is the best option for us. I think that's what we've all been urging and wanting is just the option, the choice to do what we normally do. And I think that's slowly but surely starting to come back into place. And I think this is a huge step towards that. And we'll talk to Scott Woodward coming up here at 8 a.m. this morning and talk to him about, just the backbone of that decision and how you get there. But I fully support this. I think that this is now time.
Perfect timing for baseball.
Absolutely.
Shot in the arm.
It is. And I wonder if that was maybe some of the thought process behind it.
He had it last month with his new COVID restrictions. He has a meeting every month, and he said we'll follow up on the 28th. So it was just perfect timing.
Yeah.
And he'll have his next meeting probably again on the 28th.
Wait, say that again?
It seems he has his COVID, like John Bell. It's every once a month. He has new updates, so it lands always like on the 28th, I think.
Yeah.
So it was just perfect timing.
Yeah.
But I can give Kim Mulkey credit.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the one thing that I love about Mulkey, and if you didn't recognize this in her press conference, is I think we all recognize that she's pretty brash, right? I mean, I don't think that she's shy. She's not going to walk into a room where she's going to be uncomfortable. I mean,
Or they had flames going after
Did you
her.
see her first? I mean, did you see her first interaction with Ogeron? You know, I mean, like, don't man me. I'm older than you.
Yeah.
You're older than me. You know what I mean? Like, making sure she's just like keeping people in check. And you know, I kind of told her off the record. I don't know how much Ogeron likes those impersonations. I mean,
She went to the well a
she's done
couple of
3 them.
times. Yeah,
I mean,
been here for a day.
that I've seen publicly. But she got on. I mean, when she grabbed that microphone, it was almost like a roast. I mean, it was like a miniature roast in the sense of the people that she knew. She gave you an idea. And oh yeah, by the way, learned yesterday, she's raised $250,000 through text messages
Amazing.
already.
Like a politician.
And one of them is a North Louisiana donor that had not been donating and had not been giving to the school in over 4 years.
Wow.
In over a certain amount of time. And just like that, through a text message, Mulkey, $250,000. So
Through a text message.
we can
Venmos are open.
we can talk all we can talk all we want about contracts and numbers and escalating numbers and what that contract status looks like.
Getting your money back.
But just look at that. You've got over 2,000 deposits already in the bank for season tickets starting next season, and she's already on the trail of fundraising, and she hadn't even hit the trail. I mean, you hadn't even put her out in front of people with the logo on her chest and her doing what she does great. But I digress. In what she was, the way that she owned that room on Monday.
Yeah.
The way that she was going after a lot of the power in the room and really cutting out the power in her addressing of them individually. I mean, John Bell Edwards, she went back to John Bell Edwards' relationship that they had when they were kids, when they were watching sports. She named everybody around John Bell Edwards' family, his dad, his brother, his sister-in-law, his wife. I mean, gave you the personal connection just by the way she addressed the crowd. I mean, I was sitting in the room and thought to myself, wow, I had no idea that her and the governor were this close. And come to find out, I mean, I think that opening remark of the press conference was a little bit of a shot at her friend, of her childhood friend, of, I'm not wearing this mask. I got too much stuff to say.
How long have you not needed a mask in Texas? Like 2 months? 3 months?
I don't know if it's been 3 months, but it's been a while.
Wow.
But
Yeah,
I
mean,
was there 2 weeks ago, and everyone had masks on.
In
Because
Texas?
yes, in Dallas.
Really?
Yeah, and I guess because Dallas is a bigger city, but I went there like excited, thinking like,
Yeah,
y'all,
like-
we're not gonna have to wear masks, like, but you do.
And you don't go to the stage. You don't go to the stage and not. That was prepared, obviously. Like that's not something that she did on a whim. She obviously had a point to make and made it. That's the second time that she's done this about the mask thing. First one was the thinly veiled shot at Gino, which I'm all about. This one was a planned. I'm introducing myself to Louisiana. We know how you all feel about this. Like, JB, let's get this thing rolling.
Yeah.
What are we
Yeah.
doing here?
Well, I mean, even like you could tell the way that the room was responding to Tom Galligan, the interim president, who tried to do the first 4 minutes of his press conference with the mask on. And like there were people in the back like, can't hear you, can't understand you, take the mask off. And I mean, like, you know, like 3-4 minutes in, he's like, let me remove this mask.
I
You know
never
what I mean?
take this
People are
off.
like,
Yeah, you got shamed
Thank
into
you.
it. Yeah.
Thank you. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, and then Mulkey walks up there, and her first remark to LSU, her first public statement to LSU, is by just slingshotting this mask across the stage and saying, "I'm done with this crap. I got stuff to say." And look what's happened in the 48 hours since. I don't think it's a coincidence. I mean, I really don't. I know that Jack just said that, you know, he's got that John Bell has monthly meetings dealing with COVID updates, but I think that this one was probably expedited. You know, that this, at least the move on the agenda of, we got to demask. I mean, like, did you see the response of Mulkey? I mean, did you see the way that she owned the room? And Wes Shin makes a good point. I mean, she was walking around campus and she was going at everybody. I mean, she was lighting
You're next,
everybody up. I mean, I couldn't believe Panamsky was making eye contact with her when she was walking up to Ogeron. I mean, he is prime real estate for her to be like, what the hell is this guy doing?
Bro, if she's saying that stuff in public, imagine what she's saying in private.
Holy cow, bro.
She's just sitting with her legs crossed, like, all right, I got a little document for you. Here's a shot for you, a shot for you. Like, cross that one off the list. I don't know, it's like Billy Madison when she pats the lipstick. Cross you off the list.
Wes Shin asks, you think she's bigger than Ogeron in the athletic department right now? Maybe not.
Right
but
now.
She doesn't believe she's not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's the attractive part of her style, is that it doesn't matter what room she's in. It doesn't matter who's really around her. She's not going to be intimidated by anything.
Well, the resume speaks for itself, does
Sure.
it not? Yeah.
I think that she is absolutely the biggest hire in LSU sports history when you talk about her accomplishments and her resume when you bring her in. You got Nick Saban in Baton Rouge with 0 national championships. You got Skip Bertman in Baton Rouge with 0 national championships. Now, when Skip Bertman left, he had 5 national championships, and he was responsible for hiring Nick Saban as the football coach. So, I mean, his legacy was stamped and will forever be remembered. His name and number sit on the wall of Skip Bertman Field, Alec Box Stadium. I mean, all of that happened while he was at LSU. Nick Saban was here for 5 years. A national championship, an SEC championship, and the blueprint on how to recruit the state of Louisiana for the football program is what he left behind. A lifetime legacy in Baton Rouge that will always be remembered. When Kim Mulkey showed up to Baton Rouge, she had 3 national championships as a head coach, a national championship, 2 national championships as a player, 1 as an assistant coach, a gold medal, and a Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer.
Jeez.
I mean, bro, is there an argument?
It's amazing.
Is there
there's not
a debate?
How often does a
No.
Hall of Famer get hired? Usually they just stay.
Exactly.
What, Van Chancellor?
And then comes in and inks a 9-year deal, an 8-year deal. You know, I mean, she's not going anywhere.
No.
And what do you think the over and under is before LSU women's basketball is truly competitive? Like, I'm talking about like Sweet 16, Elite 8, Final Four.
2 years.
3.
3 years, I think they're in the national championship picture. And I think that
Yeah, so 2.5
look
over
at
under.
look at Saban's reign. Look at Saban's rise. Look at Ogeron's run to a national championship. Sean Payton. I mean, so Nick Saban in Alabama. I
Willie
mean,
Wade.
Will Wade, absolutely. I mean, look at the way that it takes, or the amount of time it takes to create culture, change, and bring it. I think that she will have a roster overhaul very similar to what Will Wade did in his first season, where people expected Wade to come in here and just kind of figure it out year one. And when, in fact, he came in, looked at his roster and said, we can't win with this. We got to overhaul this entire thing. He brought in 8 new spots, whether it was transfers, graduate transfers, guys that he had gone out and recruited, guys that he had told, your scholarship's not active anymore. You're out.
The stars are aligning with that new transfer rule.
I mean,
They'll steal some players from
I
Baylor.
wonder how many are going to come with her. Did you?
Yeah.
I mean, have you kept up with some of the social media? Baylor women's basketball. I doubt that people are diving into it, but I mean, just the reaction of her not being there. I mean, it is
Have they found a coach yet?
It is a mother leaving
No, not
their
yet.
young. You know what I mean? With the effect. I mean, like, look at the effect that Nikki Fargas had. I mean, nobody is even talking. None of her players are even saying anything. You follow Baylor women's basketball. I mean, like, these kids are crying into
Yeah.
their social media. I mean, these kids are like lost.
Well,
Ugly.
surely they're going to come, right?
I don't
Some
know.
of them.
I don't know.
But it goes to show, like, just what the investment does in women's college basketball or basketball in general. If you invest in the coach, you better be leery of, what future prospects are out there, because I don't know what Baylor's going to turn into now. What is Baylor women's basketball? There's nobody that can pick up that torch and make it what it is. Nobody can continue what she had going. So it might just kind of get a little dormant.
Look at
Maybe.
Texas Tech. Texas Tech was in the finals 3 years ago. Chris Beer leaves for Texas. That program's in dumpster right now.
Yeah.
4 players left.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's too bad.
It'll. I doubt that you can keep the momentum that Mulkey had going at Baylor just because of the force and personality she was, but the job she leaves behind.
Well, yeah, it's a great program, so they're going to get a great hire still, right?
You would think that it would be attractive to a lot of
Yeah.
people, but it will come down to the athletics director and who he decides to pick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be, I mean, life's about choices. I think that he will have options. He will have choices, but he's going to have to make sure he brings in the right personality to try and keep up with what Kim Mulkey has established. It's tough to follow a legend, man. In any realm, in any job, in any aspect, in the world that we speak of in sports, I mean, the examples are a laundry list long of people that have come in and failed mightily following legendary people, right? I mean, you could even look right here in Baton Rouge of Smoke Laval following Skip Bertman. I mean, that was a hand-picked successor by Skip Bertman, a guy that had sat on Bertman's bench for the majority of his reign in Baton Rouge and came back and, not so much fell flat on his face, but just couldn't keep up to the standard, couldn't keep up to the level of excellence that Bertman had put down. And, it's really sometimes unfair to charge somebody with that. I mean, Les Miles came in following Nick Saban and was able to kind of overcome that. But he was always very insecure about Nick Saban. He never allowed Nick Saban's players back around. He never would bring anybody that had ties to those years that Saban was in Baton Rouge. He never really embraced that part of LSU football history. And for a lot of people, that rubbed him the wrong way. And he was able to overcome it with the production on the field. But Saban really wasn't here long enough to build up that Bertman legendary status. Whoever follows him in Tuscaloosa, God help you. I mean, whether it is Dabo Sweeney or Kirby Smart, or they go out and try to find somebody that, is maybe off the radar.
PJ Fleck.
Somebody, I don't know. Whoever it is, that is, it'll be the best job in college football when it's open just because of the resources and what you have at your disposal. But it'll be so much pressure to try and live up to what it was, and that's nearly impossible to do every single time.
If you're an athletic director, do you almost have like a sacrificial lamb or like a rebound hire where you just like you put like a 1-2 year stopgap, like, look, you're not going to like being here. It's going to be terrible. I mean, talking about the previous person we had before you. So be the stopgap hire, do it 1-2 years, then we find somebody else.
Possibly.
That's not a bad strategy.
I don't know how you work that strategy or if that's a legitimate option. Yeah, just bring somebody in
then
that's
like, all right,
so
now
close
we're looking
to them, and then begin the search.
Yes.
So I don't know, but I don't know how they'll handle the Baylor job. But the fact of the matter is that the legend is in Baton Rouge now, and she is whether it is non-coincidental or not, it seems like she is making her mark very rapidly here on her new job, her new city, her new school, her new state. And there's national reaction. I am a huge Dan Le Batard fan. And Le Batard struck a deal earlier this week with DraftKings that is going to be monumental for our space. It will be the launch point, the jump-off point for a lot of people in our industry, in our space, that are trying to do their own thing, that are at an undisclosed location, just doing a daily podcast on YouTube, Facebook, without any affiliation to any cable network or radio station. $50 million, he signed a deal with DraftKings. They were reacting to the Kim Mulkey hire yesterday on their podcast. And they were in disagreement with the way that it started. But they were giving their opinion.
Why were they in disagreement?
On LSU women's basketball, just on the way that she handled the mask, some of the things that she said in the past, the controversial figure that she is coming into LSU at this point of LSU's public relations nightmare. Is this what LSU needs? That's what they're debating on a national podcast. But that's what you get when you bring her in. You get national exposure, good, bad, or indifferent. So let's reset, and we're gonna catch up with Mike Triplett, and we'll change the narrative a little bit here and talk about the NFL draft that cranks up tonight from Cleveland. LSU looks like they're set to have a couple of first-round wide receivers go off the board. Jamar Chase could be flying off the board within the top 5 picks, possibly to Cincinnati and reuniting with Joe Burrow, his former college quarterback at LSU, where they sets all type of records. So we'll talk about that with Mike Triplett coming up here in a couple of minutes on the Jordy Culotta Show, where daily Remember, every single day we're brought to you by Hub International Insurance. Hub International Insurance is the official insurance agency of the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and the Jordy Culotta Show. Work with great people over there at Hub International. Let them insure your business today. If you have a business policy that you need help with, let Hub International. You can get in touch with me, Jordy at JordyCulottaShow.com, and I'll put you in touch with the right people over there at Hub International. All right, when we come back, we will talk to Mike Triplett of ESPN.com, who covers the New Orleans Saints. We'll ask him draft strategy for Sean Payton and the Saints brass as they go into a draft for the first time in 16 years without Drew Brees as their quarterback back in the facility. We'll ask him the strategy next year on the Jordy Culotta Show. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at JordyCulottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at JordyCulottashow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021.
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school. So you can feel cool. Give it to me, baby. Baby. Yeah.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. Every single day, check out the online selection at GEAUXchevrolet.com. Brand new used car lot here in Baton Rouge on Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales, newest member of the Go Chevrolet family. Lee Carney, Nick Richard, great automotive people that you can find down in Laplace or in Baton Rouge if you're looking to jump into a new car or a used car. Mike Triplett covers the New Orleans Saints for ESPN. He's an NFL Nation reporter for the New Orleans Saints, has been covering the franchise for a while now. He's a great resource. He comes back to us here to the Jordy Culotta Show here on draft day. First round of the NFL draft gets going tonight. Triplett obviously is on Twitter if you want to keep up with everything that's going on with the Saints today, tonight, at Mike Triplett. Mike, good morning. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Before we get into the Saints news, a local question for you real quick and ask you if it makes sense in just what you've covered and keeping up with it. Does Jamar Chase make sense at 5 going to reunite with Joe Burrow in Cincinnati?
I mean, he obviously does. I mean, some people have number one overall. on their board. But after the season Joe Burrow just had, the tiebreaker between a receiver and offensive lineman for me would be keep Joe Burrow protected. But look, when you're picking 5 and you've got the top offensive lineman and the top receiver in the draft class to choose from, you probably can't go wrong.
Jabril Cox is another one of the LSU Tigers that's going into the draft and has had some feedback of possibly a late first round, early second round selection. I know that Mickey Loomis and Sean Payton have jumped into this prospect and studied him pretty hard before he got to LSU. He was at North Dakota State. LSU put him at kind of a linebacker spot last season where they exposed him and his running ability and his coverage style. What have you gotten from the feedback of Jabril Cox and kind of how he's graded out through this draft process?
Yeah, I mean, that's always kind of impossible to tell, but that's the same thing I've heard. I mean, I would not be shocked to see him go in round 1, and I would expect him in round 2. I also agree that he'd be a good fit for the Saints. Unfortunately, they have a lot of needs on defense. They could pick Joe Horn's son if they want to stay local in round 1. Jabril Cox in round 2, and the defense would look a lot better. But I agree with you. I mean, it could be a little, it's worth watching the end of round 1 and probably more likely early tomorrow night.
There's been some chatter around Caleb Farley, who is the defensive back from Virginia Tech, and whether or not he will still be available in the Saints' first round selection at 28. And by the way, Saints have 8 picks in this draft, so they have some capital to work with. Do you see them making a move, and is Farley the guy that you've heard the most that they're liking here going into tonight?
Well, I always see them making a move. They've traded up 20 times in the last 14 years.
Wow.
Which is just crazy. And we asked Mickey Loomis about it yesterday, and he embraces it or doesn't shy away from it, doesn't apologize for it. He said, if you want to call us aggressive, then we're aggressive, but when we have a player we like, we think it's worth it to go up and get him. Farley, Sean Payton made it clear. Our own eyes tell us cornerback is the top need for this team. Farley would make sense. J.C. Horn would make sense. Greg Newsom could make sense. Even Patrick Surtain could make sense if they're willing to go way up. Farley, though, man, I have no idea. Seems like the prospect in this draft that the least people can get a peg on. I mean, he's got the talent to go top 10. I think Todd Mache said he'd possibly be the number 1 defensive player in this draft if you didn't have concern about his medical history. But then I just saw Daniel Jeremiah's not drafted and even have him in round 1 because there are going to be concerns about his medical history. Back surgery, didn't play in 2020, opted out. Then had another back surgery in March. So teams are going to have to feel really comfortable with that. No, they'll feel comfortable with everything else. And, Saints have been linked to him, both because of need and because people are saying that they think they're comfortable with his medical, but you never know for sure until we see it happen.
Mike Triplett joining us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. He covers the New Orleans Saints for ESPN.com, as you can find out what's going on with the Saints by following him on Twitter at Mike Triplett. When you talk about the needs, and you mentioned the needs that they have on defense, where would you start?
I would start with cornerback, and then, I think right behind that is maybe a tie between wide receiver and linebacker. Those are positions where, they let starters go and they haven't replaced them with starters. And then, say the same for defensive end, defensive tackle, tight end. They lost players at those positions and have not yet replaced them. And then even kind of a wild card offensive tackle, if they don't plan to re-sign Teron Armstead and Ryan Ramczyk both long-term after this season, that'll be a need real quick. So there are a lot of ways that could go. And then the tiebreaker is, it's the grade on the board. It's whoever has that magnet that stands above everything else. And then I didn't even mention quarterback, which probably ranks as the number 1 need until they find a top 10, top 15 quarterback. But it's really hard to imagine they could find that sure thing in this year's draft. So Sean Payton said it's not a must because they obviously have 2 guys that they like in Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill.
Do they have anybody targeted at quarterback that you know of?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any way they can get into those top 5. The consensus is that nobody else is worth going in round 1. I mean, Davis Mills would be the next guy if they really like him. He could be a late first rounder potentially. Seems like more of a second rounder. But no, I mean, if they've got their eyes locked in on one guy, we don't know nobody else.
How much of the news on Marshawn Lattimore over the last couple of weeks as he was arrested up in Cleveland goes into the strategy of what they're thinking tonight?
I don't think much. I mean, I think they need to know internally if they plan on keeping Marshawn Lattimore long term. Same thing I said about Armstead and Ramczyk. But, it seems like, obviously, the fact that they didn't do anything with Lattimore's contract, didn't try to trade him when they needed to shave all this salary cap space. And, what I've heard privately, they did plan to try to pursue a long-term extension with him. And I don't think this is enough necessarily to change their thinking on that. But, it certainly could factor in. But cornerback was their number 1 need before that happened. So it's not like you can move that one any higher.
We heard Sean Payton and Mickey Loomis speaking earlier this week and last week at the Zurich Classic about the quarterback status of this team right now going into the season. And Taysom Hill was even out there at the Pro-Am speaking to reporters about his mindset going into the season. Mike, what do you make of this competition here in April going into the offseason and then going into training camp?
I think it'll be a genuinely wide-open competition. Look, I mean, we know they like Taysom Hill. Sean Payton said it a million times. He proved it by letting him start 4 games in a very competitive season. My instincts tend to tell me they would not necessarily prefer Jameis Winston to win it, but that would be the ideal scenario because I think Jameis Winston has a little more upside. He's younger. And if he's the starting quarterback, then Taysom Hill can continue to play that role on offense as a runner and a receiver and a tight end that he's been so valuable in. But Jameis Winston's going to have to earn it. If he doesn't, there's a guy they like a lot right there waiting behind him.
Mike Tripp joining us here, talking New Orleans Saints draft strategy as tonight the opening round of the NFL draft gets underway from Cleveland, Ohio. Mike, over the last 3 years, it's been argued, and the Saints have made a pretty good point in the argument that they may have had the best roster in the league over that time span. Now, without Drew Brees and having to clear $100 million in cap space this offseason, where do you have this roster going into tonight's draft, going into the weekend's draft, and going into the offseason for the first time in a long time without a guy like Brees?
I still think it's one of the most talented rosters in the NFL. Depth is what they lost. I mean, they made a decision that their approach was to stay all in, to stay aggressive. They didn't trade off their top assets. I mean, when we all start putting on our top 100 players in the NFL list, they could still have 7 or 8 guys on it. When you go through, Alvin Kamara and Michael Thomas and the tackles that we mentioned on offense, and Demario Davis, Cam Jordan, Marshawn Lattimore. On defense, this is still a team that is loaded with star talent and wants to continue to contend. And frankly, they did not get their usual play out of the quarterback position last year. Drew Brees admittedly struggled with injuries all year, missed 4 games, struggled early in the season when he was dealing with other injuries. Taysom Hill started 4 of those games, and this was still a 12-14 despite not having elite quarterback play last year. So if they get very good quarterback play this year, I think could still be a team that's competing to win the NFC South and go deep into the playoffs.
With Jameis being the guy, it almost seems like, do you think they were trying to kind of hide him during those Taysom Hill starts?
No. Look, Taysom Hill had sort of earned the spot to be next in line. I mean, they were never lying about their belief that Taysom Hill could be a quality starter in this league. He had been with the team for 4 years. He had re-signed as a restricted free agent. Sean Payton said they had conversations about how they were going to give him that opportunity. And, Jameis had just shown up in July. He was the newcomer, and he was the more unproven guy. So, I mean, you take that all into account. It was Taysom's turn. He was next in line. So I don't think there was anything beyond that they were like had a super secret plan to keep Winston under wraps. But I think now that Jameis is in his second year in the system, now that sort of Peyton delivered on his promise to Taysom Hill, it's wide open. They're on equal footing going into this bout.
Okay, so to that point, is that why Taysom is doing quarterback only drills? He thinks it's an open competition going into the season.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, this is his shot. If they tell him you had to wait 4 years behind Drew Brees and then you have to wait a couple years behind, Jameis Winston, and one day maybe we'll give you an opportunity. No, this is his shot to be probably not only a starting quarterback for the Saints, but a starting quarterback in the NFL. Period. I mean, other people are probably going to have to see it before they give him that opportunity, unless injury opens something up down the road. But this is his best shot at it. He's going to go all in to be the starting quarterback.
Hey, Mike, what's your priority list for long-term contracts? Ramczyk, Lattimore, who goes first?
It's a good question. I mean, I feel like Ramczyk is the must in the group because you have to keep either him or Teron Armstead. You can't be going into next year looking for two new offensive tackles. And Ramczyk just feels like a safer bet to, you pay him now, you could probably get 10 quality years out of him as a starting offensive tackle. But either one would create a gaping hole on this team. So ideally they get them both done.
Morning, Mike. I was just wondering, what's the culture like for the Saints right now? Who's the clear-cut leader now with life without Drew Brees? I know it's kind of crazy to be saying that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have so many leaders on this team that have been around for a while that, leadership by committee, I suppose, is possible. They're all carrying on the tradition. But to answer that question, one thing I thought was interesting was when we talked to Taysom Hill at the golf tournament, and somebody said, what's it going to be like with Drew Brees? The first name he mentioned was DeMario Davis, which is really interesting since he's an offensive player and Davis is a defensive player, and Davis has only been around for 3 years, but, it should come as no surprise to us because we've seen him be that kind of a leader for this team. That's the kind of impact he has on the staff.
Do you expect them to stay at 28 tonight? And if they do you have a player in mind? I know that you mentioned earlier that you expect them to be aggressive and make moves, but
yeah.
Do you expect them to be at 28?
Well, I would say trading up is probably at least 50-50, both because the tea leaves are out there and because, it's just their history. And if they did that, I would think cornerback is the most likely reason that they're trading up. But, yeah, I mean, otherwise, as I mentioned, they have so many positions that you call them needs or wants. I've done a couple mock drafts, and one of them I went with linebacker Damon Davis, and one of them I went with receiver Elijah Moore. I would have considered a defensive end if it fell a certain way. So a lot of times it's, the highest graded player at any one of 6 or 7 different positions.
ESPN.com. He is the NFL Nation reporter for the New Orleans Saints. You can follow him on Twitter at Mike Triplett. It will be a busy day. Thank you for starting it off with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Mike, we'll talk again soon.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. There is Mike Triplett checking in from New Orleans this morning, getting set here on draft day, expecting the Saints to be aggressive going into tonight as they have been. 20 draft day trades over the last.
Awesome.
That's
I did not know
unbelievable,
that.
bro. I mean, that is aggressive.
You don't think they're ramped up for draft day? Good God.
I mean,
they're seeing the boards.
Had to clear $100 million in cap space this offseason. You're going into your first draft with Loomis and Peyton without Drew Brees. I mean, there's some pressure on the next 3 days to get this thing right. So whatever moves they make, I expect them to be very calculated.
And what's funny is that the first round isn't always where they hit. They always try to trade to get back into the first round, but it's that second and third round where they've gotten some great players.
We've seen New England try to accumulate picks over the last, under the Bill Belichick era of drafting up in Foxborough. Saints have really kind of given up picks for players. I mean, I remember the move they made for Brandon Cooks a couple of years ago to get into the first round. The move, obviously, to get the big defensive end.
Marcus Davenport
out of
traded
Texas
to get
El
Mark
Paso.
Ingram.
Yes, so they've made a lot of draft day moves as Mike Triplett there, giving some insight into that. Remember Daily here, we're brought to you by Relief Health. Over at Relief Health, they are changing the way that healthcare is brought to you here in 2021. Easy to download the app over at Relief Health. Download it there from your Apple and Google app stores. If you own a company, remember that Relief Health can get over to you and administer to your employers, administer to you employees at the workspace, at the office. Get in touch with Relief Health, the best way and the only way to get your health care in 2021 in your home or on site. The process is easy. Download the app from Relief Health over at the Apple and Google app stores today. They do have vaccines. They are administering the Moderna vaccine right now. So if you need some help from Relief Health, get them into your office, your home today by downloading the app Relief Health from Apple and Google app stores. All right, 10 minutes from now, we'll talk to Scott Woodward, the athletics director over at LSU. A lot of news surfacing around LSU over the last 72 hours, whether it's Kim Mulkey being introduced as the women's basketball coach, the transfer rule made official by the NCAA. We'll ask the athletics director what that means to departments around the country in the SEC. And then, of course, 100% capacity. LSU will open up the gates this weekend to Alec Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field, and to Tiger Park, both programs hosting Arkansas. Baseball has the #1 Arkansas team in town, while softball has the #8 softball team in Arkansas in town this weekend. Both fields, both facilities, 100% capacity. We'll talk to Scott Woodward about that decision coming up here in 9 minutes on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented every single day by Go Chevrolet. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.com to learn more.
Go ahead, son. Jordy's out. Just us two. Not really. He's right here.
What's rolling in? We're going to hour number 2 on the Jordy Culotta show. We got the 2 young guns right now as Jordy's doing some dad stuff. Lloyd and Jack just talking. Fun fact we were talking about in the world of instant gratification. The Rams have given up their first-round pick 5 straight years.
5 straight years, and it's all because they know what they're doing. They don't need a first-round pick.
We were saying we thought the Saints were aggressive.
The Rams. And it's because this is what we were thinking. It's because they know that they're in win-now mode almost all the time because it's LA and they can get some free agents into Los Angeles to come play with Sean McVay because he runs a high-powered offense. They like the allure of playing in LA, and it kind of seems like a fun culture. And they don't believe in the draft. Like, I think this is it's one way to do it as opposed to building around the draft. Everybody always thinks that's like the way to go. It's the safe way. But I think that if you do it this way and construct it in a way where you can get absolute players that aren't past their prime and get players that are in win-now mode also, Matt Stafford's going to throw 40 touchdowns.
You were saying we were trying to put it in the pick. MVP dark horse. We were trying to put it in the prop bet.
Stafford?
Stafford for MVP.
Possibly. I mean, who is the closest comparison to Sean Payton out there? McVay. A young Sean Payton. I mean, think about his aggressive nature on draft day and who is really comparable to. I can see it. And I could also see Stafford having a great season.
Yeah, we got MVP. We got MVP talk going over here.
That's strong.
40 touchdowns, 10 picks.
But it would also depend on how the team does.
The team is good,
right?
The defense is
how they do this season, I think goes into MVP voting. You know, I think that the success of the team
for sure
depends on.
I also have a bet on them to win the Super Bowl this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I think they were one piece away. I was not a big Jared Goff guy. I love him to death. You know, it seems like he's having a good time, but he just the pieces never fit. Like McVay, they had to trade up to get him to make a splash because it was his first year. They were moving to LA. They needed the quarterback. Like it was almost like a movie scene. You know, they had to do the thing, and I don't think they were ever bought in on what Goff was bringing to the table.
A lot of stuff that we're going to talk to with Scott Woodward coming up here on the Jordy Culotta show, including, did you see this? The college football playoff was widely seen. And has been an upgrade to the BCS system, but it looks like the college football playoff system is really considering talking about expansion, as that could be heating up. It could be coming in the next couple of years. Right now, the current playoff contract ends in 2025. So from a planning standpoint, it's a little bit a while away. But when you talk about what it could possibly mean for expansion, SEC coaches are even starting to weigh in. Nick Saban talked about the possibility of playoff expansion, saying that it'll put a little bit too much pressure on student athletes. Kirby Smart was in favor for the expansion.
That's an odd excuse. Too much pressure on student athletes.
Well, he was
what
saying,
are you doing at practice, man?
You're going to take away a non-conference game, and you're going to add on more games to the back end of the season.
I mean, what are we doing here? We know they ain't here to play school.
That's right.
Cardell Jones, baby.
That's right.
I think Nick doesn't want any more competition than he needs when he gets to that playoff.
That's what it's about. But this really got ramped up because last week there had a report that came out stating that 63 expansion scenarios were discussed by the College Football Playoff Management Committee during a recent slate of virtual meetings. The possible expansion ideas included 6 teams, 8 teams, 10 teams, 12 teams, and even 16-team scenarios among some of the discussions of as early as last week with the College Playoff.
Should we ask Scott what he thinks?
We are going to ask Scott.
What do you think? I wouldn't mind 8. I just want to get in. I just want to go to the dance.
Yes,
I just want to get invited. Maybe I could punch above my weight, bring home the prom queen one year. It only takes one good night.
I hate the argument of once we get to 8, it's going to go to 12. Once we get to 12, it'll be at 16. Nobody's ever going to be satisfied. And really, everybody just wanted 4, right? So now you're here. And now we're left wanting more. So let's link up with Scott Woodward, who is the athletics director. Give me 15 seconds here to set this up off the air, so I don't break it.
You're losing me at 16. That's crazy.
Really? I'm not. I don't know. I guess I can't think of 16 good teams. You know, if you get in, but the whole the whole model is what it's based after. Is people are going after 64.
Yeah.
They want the NCAA March Madness style. So the more teams you bring in, the more chance there are for upsets. I get that, and I'm for it. I mean, and unless you have certainly money, unless you have like an LSU scenario in 2019, I only wanted to play 2 games because we're the best team in the country, and I don't want an upset. But if we're always on that fringe 8 line, I want to be in.
All right, welcome back in. Welcome back into the Jordy Culotta Show, presented every single day by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Stop in and see Lee Carney, Nick Richard, and the crew if you're looking for a new model down in LaPlace or a used car over here in Baton Rouge on Florida Boulevard at Go Express Auto Sales. It is a pleasure to welcome into the conversation here on this Thursday morning LSU Athletics Director Scott Woodward, as it has been a whirlwind of a week up at LSU Sports with a bunch of good news coming out, including the opening announcement and press conference of Kim Mulkey being announced as the LSU women's basketball coach. So a lot to get to with Woody this morning. Scott, good morning. How are you?
Hey, great, Jordy. And before we begin, I want to embarrass you a little bit and just let everyone know listening how far we go back, and just let you know, I know how proud your grandfather, Mr. Frank, would be, and I know how your grandmother, Dee Dee, is, and let everyone know Frankie and your dad and Mark, your uncle, are close friends, and they're proud of the job you're doing. And I've known you since you were a little tyke, and I'm just proud of everything you're doing and how you go about your business. So just a little shout out there, man, and I couldn't be more proud of the job you're doing.
Well, Scott, that means a lot coming from you, and as you know how much respect my family has for you and your family, and getting you back home meant so much to everybody around the state of Louisiana, but specifically to a lot of people in Baton Rouge who knew you and your family well. So I appreciate you leading off our interview with those thoughts. On that thought, bringing in Kim Mulkey to lead your women's basketball program, it seems like has ignited this state, or at least reunited this state behind LSU athletics. Do you get that feeling with the hire that you made earlier this week?
You know, Jordy, on these things, yeah, there's a huge excitement. I don't want to discount that at all. But, you know, when we who get real close to the things that we think are horrific or bad, or aren't as bad as horrific as we think, yeah, there's some problems out there and there's some issues out there. But we're LSU, and we're human beings, and we have things that we're dealing with that are societal problems. But in the end, you never have or lose faith in what and how LSU affects and has an importance on so many lives and so many people. And for me, you know, it took me going to work, you know, over 2,000 miles away from here, and then just a few hours away from here, to realize that, you know, the thing that we do a lot here is we exacerbate what we have, and we self-flagellate a little bit when we make mistakes. But granted, I'm not diminishing what's gone on and what's happened, but I just want everyone to know that, hey, everything's going to be all right, and we're going to get things right. And Kim Mulkey's part of that catharsis and part of the theme. And I don't want to sound like it's a regular happening, but it's what we should expect at LSU, the greatest. And what we suspect from Louisiana, or expect from Louisiana, I should say, is Kim Mulkey. I mean, that's who we are. That's who she is. You know, you heard her say it's to her soul. And this is what you want here. And, you know, she, just like me and everyone else, we put on pants one leg at a time, and we try to do the right thing and be good. But, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt there's enormous excitement and there's good news, but there's going to be more good news to come. And I can promise you that, Jordy.
How refreshing. What a great answer. And I think that is what the fan base, the consumers have been wanting, and Scott Woodward, the LSU athletics director, that's what you get, just direct response and somebody who loves our state and is pulling in the right direction. She mentioned that conversation between you and Coach Mulkey lasted about 10 minutes, 15 minutes max, to sell her on the job at LSU. Can you give us a little insight to what that conversation was like?
Yeah, it was just what she said. You know, it was a personal insight. Even though I didn't know Kim personally, she and I grew up in Louisiana exactly the same time. She's a class ahead of me, even though we're the same age. So she's a little older than me. I was teasing her on that part. But,
watch
you know,
the yes ma'am, Scott. Watch the yes ma'am.
Exactly. And we both laughed about that. And I was telling my wife last night, this is who she is. You know, I told her, I said, you know, when we're on stage there, I said, we're going to be a little politically incorrect here, and I'm going to give you a big hug. And she goes, if you want, you can give me a big kiss. And I started laughing, you know.
Right.
I said, yeah, this is awesome. You know, this is who we are. But, you know, I'm getting ahead of myself. But the phone conversation was just that. You know, I was having my oldest son who lives out of town was in town, and we were spending time together, and you know, we talked about that, and she says, hey, my most difficult part's going to be talking to my family. And I said, that's what I want you to do. Take your time and talk about it. So, you know, when we had that conversation, we were like kindred spirits. We were just like, hey, we know what we're about. And I just told her very simply out of the box, hey, come home. This is time for you to come home. This is a place for you to be. We can support you at LSU and in the SEC. We're blessed with rabid fans and great resources, and we're going to continue to do great things. And it was an easy sell. I hate to be glib about it, but it really was for her point in time and her career, and she and I talking the same language. It was an easy, fun, very comfortable conversation.
In talking to her and listening to her description of coming to Baton Rouge and coming home, she mentioned, obviously, the conversation that she had with you, but then behind the scenes, Scott, with so many people doing work, whether it was Stephanie or it seemed like Dee Bro meant a lot to this negotiation.
Rock stars, both of them. Yeah. You know, Dee loves LSU so much, and Stephanie Remp is a pro's pro. You know, you always have good people, and you know me, Jordy, and you know what I'm about. It's all about good people. I'm not smart enough to be good. Everyone goes, oh, how do you do it? I said, it's always hiring people smarter and better than you. And that happens to be two very, very classy and hardworking ladies. And they were involved as people that were very close to Kim that, you know, some I know, some I don't even know. And, you know, always look for the more the merrier, and the more credit we can give for people that had in this, the better, because, you know, I was just the titular head, baby. I was just the one that said, come home, and then let's make this happen.
Some news out of your athletic department yesterday, opening up the facilities to 100% capacity this weekend. Arkansas, #1 team in baseball in town. Arkansas softball team, who's #8 in the country, will be at Tiger Park. There has been a lot of excitement, at least from our listener base, from the feedback and making that decision. What went into making that choice and opening up the gates this weekend?
Yeah, here again, it was very simple, Jordy. We've always followed and always let our medical experts and our folks, you know, obviously with the State Department of Health and working in the governor's office and administration, make these medical decisions. And when we got the green light to do it, we said absolutely, and our fan base is doing that. But I have one caveat. I'd like to be a shameless advocate on your show, Jordy, and say to everyone, man, please get vaccinated. Yeah. The more vaccinations we have, the more everyone can get back to normal, whether it's your show, whether it's your sponsors, whether it's LSU athletics, so we can be fully tailgating and full capacity in the fall without masks. If more and more and more people get vaccinated, let's continue to do that. And we got good news. Our student athletes are stepping up and doing it. I think 70% of our football team's already vaccinated, and that number's going up. 50% plus of our student athletes are doing it, and a lot more will do it when they come back from break. And I just, you know, I've done it, and you know, I wouldn't ask anyone else to do anything I didn't do. So that's my shameless pitch, and please, everyone out there, consider it and do it.
Great, refreshing messages coming from Scott Woodward here this morning on the Jordy Culotta Show. We appreciate his time. I know it's a busy day for him and everybody up at the athletics facility. Your program and your department will receive free advertisement tonight at the NFL draft, as you'll have two guys come off the board for sure in that first round, in Jamar Chase and Terrace Marshall, maybe a third in Jabril Cox. But can you talk about what it means to the football program and to the athletic department when nights like tonight occur for LSU?
Jordy, I'm so glad you brought that up, man. Those are such great kids. I mean, I get to know them intimately and positively. You know, yeah, occasionally do we have someone go astray or awry? Yes, but let's talk about how Jamar Chase and Terrence Marshall and Jabril Cox, who's only been here a year, they're just class, wonderful young men. Mm-hmm. And you know, I'm so blessed and glad to be associated with them. And you know, they love LSU. They come back. They do. You saw it at Pro Day. You saw them pulling for each other. You saw Jets come in and just be fired up, and everyone around it. And that's the way it is. It's family and it's camaraderie. And trust me, when they screw up, they get on each other harder than we get on them, and that's what you want. You want that peer pressure. But hey, this is time to celebrate and time to do it. And the message to these kids, and I tell them, man, you're going to have a successful career, but you're going to live a long time. Hold on to your money and be smart in what you do and how you do it, and always represent your family and LSU to the best of your ability. So yeah, these are celebrations. These are fun events. These are things that you get fired up for. It give you goosebumps.
Scott, real quick on the business of college football, and I know you may not have a definitive answer, but it's in the news right now that expansion is being discussed, and I know you guys will all meet and discuss on that from a leadership standpoint. But where we sit right now, I know the college football playoff contract is through 2025. Do you see it staying put, or do you see possible expansion on the horizon?
You know, I'm always, you know, open to see what happens and what goes on out there. We have a tremendous commissioner in our league, and Greg Sankey, and how he does things. And he will lead us, and he always has. And just so here again, I don't even know if you know this, but he's part of that group that votes, and he has a vote, and it has to be unanimous. So I know that the SEC's and LSU's interests will be represented well when that discussion happens, and I couldn't begin to tell you what's going to happen, whether it's going to expand, whether it's going to stay the same, whether we go back to 2, which I doubt, but right. You just never know. And we've done very, very well as a school and as a league in the 4-person format. So me personally, you know, I want to be shown and proven that expansion makes sense for the good of the regular season and for the good of everyone in postseason. So it'll be thoughtful and it'll be thought out. And trust me, there's not that much decision making going on right now. There's a lot of discussions and there's a lot of different things being thought about.
Woody, as your friend, thank you for coming on this morning. But from somebody who supports the university and has grown up loving the place, thank you for bringing your leadership back home to LSU and really serving the people the way that you are. Your leadership is going very noticed in communities all over our state, and bringing in people like Kim Mulkey and the people that you have brought in, Cody Worsham, to the athletic department and elevated him into a role that he is going to knock out of the park, is bringing pride to the university and the athletic department, again, with you in the leadership. So thank you very much for the time this morning, the kind words you said about the family and your time, because I know it's very valuable. So good to talk to you.
That's too kind of you, Jordy, and I do appreciate it, and I'm just blessed and honored to be you know, the steward of this program, and I'm really lucky, and thank you for those kind words, and again, give your family my love.
Yes, sir. Great to talk to you. See you soon. There is Scott Woodward checking in this morning. 15 minutes there talking about the state of the program, the state of LSU and Kim Mulkey, and bringing her in. Very powerful words right there from the leader of LSU athletics. And I can say, in knowing Woody a little bit, there has been, there has been a little bit of a period of trying to really just figure out what you're dealing with before you start making moves. And I think that he has been open to criticism for the first, year and a half on the job, 2 years on the job. But you're starting to see things like COVID move into the rearview mirror, and budget problems, and not having the full budget capacity because you weren't allowed to open up the admissions gates to football and basketball and baseball, things that you count on in being able to create revenue. And now that those things are starting to happen, him starting to instill and bring in his leadership locally, and what he means to our community, and what LSU means to him, I still, I believe will start to come through in his decision making, and in his thoughts, and how he places. I think the Kim Mulkey hire is a great example of who Scott Woodward is. And I think he just gave you insight to that phone conversation. It was 10 minutes long, as Mulkey said on the podium earlier this week. Woodward just said what he told her. Come home. It's time to come home.
10 minutes of him speaking like that, that'll get me.
I mean.
Oh, that lineup, Woodward talking, Dede, Mulkey. I don't have much in my checking account, but I'll give something to Taft with that lineup.
Right? And
That was just awesome.
That's what
Such pride and love for our school.
That's what they believe. If somebody like you, right, who doesn't have a pot to piss in right now,
Yeah, Jack.
and still trying to finish up your college career, still on track to graduate, but you see things that hit you like that and make you want to donate at the time when you can do that. That is impact. That is that's where it is.
I can't think of another school that just it hits so close in your heart, just pride and not commitment to your school, and it's that family. I really can't.
Yeah.
When people just speak of the great, Woodward every time for the great state of Louisiana. I'm not even from Louisiana, but just
Right, and the fact that it hits you like that, and how big of a difference do you think that it makes that he's from here? Like, he understands the culture of Louisiana, and that's what we've been lacking with our former hires. He understands what the people here want. He understands how we think and breathe and act, and he just gets us and gets it.
Look how easy that conversation was with Mulkey.
10 minutes.
I mean, at the baseline of it, its ease was because it was two Louisiana people talking business.
I mean, I picture him sitting back in a chair with his legs crossed. He's just, all right, what are we doing here?
It's time to come home.
Yeah, this isn't a nervous conversation. This is a very easy pitch for us.
Daily, we're brought to you by Johnson and Spillers Dentistry. Remember, got to get over and see Dr. Spillers and Dr. Johnson. They're in Gonzales and in Baton Rouge. In Baton Rouge on Perkins Road in between Segan and Bluebonnet. Get in touch with Dr. Johnson and Dr. Spillers today. They can help you out with all of your dental needs, whatever you may need done from a dentist standpoint, but they can also help you out with Botox and teeth whitening and much more. Online, johnsonspillers.com, social media as well. When we come back, Megan making money. Going to jump into the
back from vacation.
Going to jump into the conversation. We'll get a couple of draft day props from Megan making money. Anything jumping off from her, and she's a true degenerate. She plays Major League Baseball every day, so we'll see if we can't get a couple of plays from her before we get out of here. Next, Megan making money here on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented every day by Go Chevrolet. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculottashow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. Appreciate everybody's interaction inside of the bunker. Questions, comments, hashtags. Chris Terrell, hashtag Ask the JC Show. What happened to all the tough questions? I don't know, Chris.
What do you want to? I mean, there's nothing tough to ask the guy.
Yeah, bro. What do you want to ask?
Come on, he's been taking a victory lap.
Yeah, get him on Darius Geis here, bro.
Yeah, he wasn't even here for that.
Come on, get out of here. Megan making money back off of vacation, which looked awesome. Sheesh.
Red Dead Revolver out there.
Last week we were blowing her up, sending her text messages. Those had no shot.
No
getting
service.
To her. No shot of getting to her. Welcome back home to South Louisiana, ma'am. It is draft day, which I know is a popular day to play, but I've been seeing you play so much Major League Baseball. You are an absolute degenerate now. How are you? Good morning.
I am great. I'm excited for the draft, although I haven't put too much stock into it. I'm just going to kind of sit back and enjoy tonight. I only got a couple of side bets with some Alabama friends that Chase goes before Smith. Right after that national championship, there's a lot of talk, that Devonta was going to go, but I'm thinking that our boy goes before him. So that's all I'm looking for tonight is that he gets out there first.
We got Jamar Chase linking up with Joe Burrow at 5, going to Cincinnati to reunite with one of the best college connections with Burrow to Chase. All right, so tell me what you're looking at here because, first off, how was the vacation, bro? Because the picks were awesome.
It was absolutely wonderful. We stayed at this little resort in Pikes Peak, Colorado. There was tons of deer. We went hiking. We had some snow. We had a nice little private hot tub. It was beautiful. The weather was absolutely wonderful. It actually said it was going to rain like 2 of the days that we were there, and ended up being absolute sunshine. So it all worked out in my favor up there. And I
have all the luck.
That's right.
I took a step away from betting. So I felt like that was the betting gods returning a favor to me and being like, look, girl, you need to take a second and breathe, and we'll breathe for you until you get back. So, it was nice to unplug there for a while. I didn't bet. Did I look at some games and maybe write down to see if I would have won? Yes.
Yes, that was going to ask. Did you see some finals and you're like, oh, damn it, why didn't I have my phone on? I knew that.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a couple of days, we were there for 3, but 2 of the days I was there, I would have slept. So I was a little mad.
Such a degenerate,
dude. Colorado in the spring is my choice. Given the choice of Colorado in the spring and or winter, I'm going spring every time, bro. Spring every time.
It is wonderful. It was our 5th year wedding anniversary. We went there on our honeymoon, so we decided to go back, as after 5 years of marriage, and see what all's changed, and see how much we still loved it, and we do. That place is just wonderful.
Congratulations on the 5 years. That's
a win.
That's a win in itself.
It's a future bet.
That's right. All right, so Major League Baseball. How do you play these things? Are you just looking at pitching matchups, and who do you like today?
So with my first 5, those are usually where I'm really, really looking at pitching matchups. Like today, I'm taking the Rays first 5 money line. They got a kid named Shane McClanahan. I hope I didn't butcher that. But he pitched in the postseason. It was actually his birthday yesterday, and I'm one of those weird people. I think it's maybe because I'm a girl. But, like, birthdays, weddings, babies being born, I feel like people are so high on life during times like that. They just kind of go balls to the wall. So, again, his birthday was yesterday. He pitched in the postseason, but he hasn't pitched in the majors, really, like in the games. So he's really fighting for a shot at rotation here. And the A's have never seen him. So I really like the Rays first 5 money line here, and that's really based on the pitching matchup.
Wait, you're not worried about I'm sorry. You're not worried about a birthday hangover here? Baseball players get after it, dude.
It's after.
Yeah, but this kid he's fighting for a spot though. Like, and they only get these, like, you only get your, like, M&M. You got one shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gotta get out there. He's gotta prove himself. And look, if he can hold it down at least the first 5, look, he can have the hangover after that. But I just need him to get me through that first 5 innings.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to go on to my second game.
Yeah, who is it?
It's Phillies Cards, and I'm taking the Phillies money line. I don't know if y'all watch any baseball, but the Cardinals threw twice. I don't know whether it was on purpose or not, but they hit both Bryce Harper and Didi.
In the face.
Yeah, Bryce Harper literally in the face. Yeah, Bryce Harper and then Didi in the back. So, and then the Cards end up winning. I think the Phillies come out. They got our boy Nola on the mound. You got to represent. Everyone's like, oh, I think Nola's going to throw at people. But no, I think they're going to go out there and they're going to absolutely kick butt. And the Phillies this is a revenge game for sure. Bryce Harper. If I had a bet on someone to hit, if today was Tuesday at, FanDuel, we have this $5 Dinger Tuesdays where you can bet on a player to hit a home run. And for any home run hit in that game, you get $5 back in bonus site credit. If it were Tuesday, I would be putting my money on Bryce Harper to hit a home run today.
A true degenerate's dream is a Kentucky Derby, right? I mean, when you talk about just the amount of plays that you can go into one Saturday on the ponies, that is on a huge platform, and that's this Saturday. That's kind of been lost in the shuffle here. Is that the Kentucky Derby is on Saturday?
Right.
Meg, who we liking? Who's the favorite? How you playing it? Give me some stats and some lines here on who to watch.
Okay, so the favorite is Essential Quality, and yesterday when I looked, he was 2-1. I think we're actually going to end up paying for this horse, and you'd really never want to pay for a horse because they could get one bad trip, it could get spooked. It does, they're not. They can't talk to us. They're not. I mean, they are professional athletes, but they're not the ones that can actually tell us if they're injured or if they don't feel good or whatever. And I don't know. I'm pretty sure you probably have heard about Mattress Mac and his humongous bet.
Yes.
He decided to throw, I think, $2 million on this horse.
This guy.
Yeah, for his insurance, for all of his mattresses. Essential Quality. That's a Cox horse. He's supposedly he's won all 5 of his starts. Insane colt, but has no value, and I'm going to try to beat him. So I'm going to be playing a trifecta box, and I'm not going to take out Essential Quality. I'm just, again, as I said, try to beat him. He's going to be in there. But I also like Medina Spirit, which is a Bob Baffert horse. And if you know anything about horse racing, you never want to count Bob Baffert out. Also, he goes into this Derby tied with another trainer for most wins ever at the Kentucky Derby. And Baffert is a little vain, and I would assume that he would like to be the trainer with the most wins. And he seems not to be super high on this horse, but that's the exact way he was last year. He was super high on Tiz the Law. Everyone was putting their money there. Meanwhile, Authentic, his other horse, absolutely blew him out of the water. So definitely adding Medina Spirit in there. I believe he's maybe 15-1. Then I like Mandaloon, which is the other Cox horse. Monster Workouts, I just think is a good horse. The other horse I like is Rock Your World. This one's getting bet on a lot. He's super fast. He's going to set the pace. And then my long shot is Soup and Sandwich, who's 30-1. And he's ridden by Tyler Gaffilion. And Tyler has made me a ton of money when I was betting ponies daily. If I saw him or one of the Ortiz brothers on top of a horse, I was like, all right, I'm in. So, yeah, Kentucky Derby, I would definitely say play a try box because I think it's wide open. I try to beat the favorite because absolutely no value there. And that's my degenerate advice of the day.
Mint juleps. Do you drink mint juleps while you watch the race?
I'll drink anything while I watch the race, but yes, mint juleps would be ideal.
Tiger Bait says, how does she know all this? Because she is a degenerate, Tiger Bait.
She's going to the track every day.
Follow her daily. Follow her on Twitter at Megan Making Money. As Meg, it seems like, I don't know if you're keeping up with this, but our guy, Representative John Stefanski, who is heading up a lot of the gambling bills up at the legislature during the session that's happening right now up on Capitol Hill in Baton Rouge. Seems like all this stuff is trending in the right direction. Are you keeping up with this at all?
Oh, yeah. I actually spoke with him over DM, just asking if there's anything I need to do to help sell this process to everybody else. I will do it. I'm ready to get this on and rolling.
Did he say that you could, or is he going to bring you up to the Capitol one day?
He said he mentioned possibly me coming to speak at an event or two. No. So, I would love to represent for our great state of Louisiana. I think sports betting would only make our state that much cooler, that much more people wanting to come, bet on the Saints, see the Saints, go see the Tigers, have Mardi Gras, eat your crawfish, drive through and get your daiquiris. We just need a couple more things, and our state, obviously, I believe it's the best state. I'm a little biased, though. But I really feel like adding like 3 or 4 more things. We got to change a couple of laws to fix those things. But once we add them, I think I will literally die happy here.
I mean, it's the mobile gambling has got to happen. And Stefanski is our guy behind it. Ben Mintz is coming in town today. I believe he and I are going to make a field trip up to the legislature tomorrow. If you have time, if you can get away, I'll give you the specifics on getting up there. But as always, we appreciate you on a Thursday morning. Great insight on both Major League Baseball and the Kentucky Derby. She's got Jamar Chase coming off the board as the first wide receiver tonight. We've got Chase going 5th overall to Cincinnati. Thank you as always. Welcome back home from the vacation, and we'll talk again soon.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to see that reunion of our boy Burrow and Chase together. I really hope that is exactly what happens.
Amen.
Y'all have a great day.
Amen. There she is, Megan Making Money, checking in this morning from Acadiana, as talking a little bit on some of the gambling insights there. Kentucky Derby this Saturday. I didn't realize that until earlier this week. I read it and thought.
It's usually played up more at this point, huh? Aren't people a little bit more fired up for it?
Does fans go to it?
That's what I was about to ask. I wonder what the attendance is.
My question is, how do they name those horses?
She
had to be messing with me.
No, there's a certain amount of letters you have to use if you go over a certain number. If you go over a certain number, then you can't use the name, so they always have to be...
They sound like fake weed
strains. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they do.
That's great.
They do. They do sound like weed strains.
Soup sandwich.
Soup and sandwich.
Soup and sandwich.
That feels like an old Jewish grandpa.
Yeah, it feels like a Seinfeldian.
Yes, it does. It does. All right, Daily, we're brought to you by Nevadis. Remember, online at nevadis.com. They are a custom design. They can help you custom design a website. They can help custom design a mobile application for you and your business. They're online. Nevadis.com is where you can check them out. We tell you every day, and you see me wearing the hat, designs and develops custom web and mobile applications. Their goal over at Nevadis is to make business more efficient, save time, and provide a beautiful experience for the customers like us. We are enjoying our experience and very easy to work with Randall Nachman and his crew over at Nevadis.com. Get in touch with Nevadis about some of their things that they can help you automate, including order management, quotes and invoices, inventory management, asset tracking, time management, and more. They can also help you in digitizing your paperwork. Online, Nevadis.com, proud supporter here of the Jordy Culotta Show. We come back, we'll close it out here on YouTube, Facebook, and JordyCulottaShow.com. Remember, all of our podcasts is brought to you by R&B Builders. We're back with more Jordy Culotta Show after this. Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.com to learn more. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show live on this Thursday morning. Good stuff. Appreciate Megan making money. Appreciate Scott Woodward. Thank you to
everyone.
Mike Triplett for stopping by.
Great guest list, dude. Good work.
Good day here on this Thursday. Didn't put the pressure on the computer on this morning.
That's right. Yeah, dude, I punted. You know what? Sometimes when it's fourth and too long, you just, you know what? Let's give it to the other. Yeah, let's go back to the thing I know well.
Zion Williamson and the Pelicans last night fell to the Denver Nuggets at the end of regulation. Zion had a nice night. He had 21 and 2 on the night. Not the regular stat line we're used to seeing.
Not the 28
from the big fella. But there was a little bit of controversy at the end of the game as Nikola Jokic came up with a big defensive play as he blocked Zion Williamson's shot from the back, about 2 seconds remaining on the clock. Pelicans were down 114-112. Upon further review, Zion was hacked. He was fouled, and there was no call there. I love Williamson's comments after the game. Even though he's one of the most dominant young players on the planet and probably one of the most recognizable faces in the NBA, he is still yet to get to a point where he has the respect level from the officials to get those late game calls. Now, did he blow the call? Yes, the referee blew the call. But is it a situation where Zion 2, maybe 3 years from now, has the career trajectory like he's on and continues to perform night in, night out, and at that point is one of the most dominant players that's recognized in the league, one of the faces of the league, then he gets that call.
It's the, hey, rookie, welcome to the league moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll give Jokic credit to be able to block Zion going up with two hands. I would break my hand.
I mean, look, even though they did, yes, you would. We all would. But Zion right now is second in the league in free throws attempted. So it's not as if he doesn't get calls, right? Like, I mean, he gets to the free throw line as efficient as anybody in the league. But I like the fact that he still is yet to get those complimentary
LeBron
calls. Yeah, LeBron calls.
MJ calls.
Yeah, way far away from the
MJ calls. Well, at the end of Michael's career, he was telling the referee it was a foul. He's like, if it's a foul, Michael, I'll call it. I'm sorry I missed it.
Right, exactly. But he's not quite there yet. But I kind of love to see that he's still going.
Well, I like
through
that he
some of those
knows
growing
it.
pains.
He knows it too. And it's not like you said, he gets to the line a lot, and he's been to the line in late games before. He gets the calls on at a more rapid rate than most, but he's not there yet. But I mean, that's what's going to happen. You say 2 years, it's probably going to be by the end of this month.
Yeah, it could be. Pelicans, Chris Jarrell says, inside of the bunker, it's time for the Pels to tank for a better draft spot. I think that's what's happening. I mean, not intentionally, but, I mean, it looks as if they're not going to be into the playoffs. They're not going to be in the play-in games.
Which is rough, dude. It's not very hard to get there.
It's not. I mean, they got some off-season answers or questions that they're going to have to answer.
And wouldn't you say that we said that last year coming into this year, and they made moves that you got Steven Adams, big contract, you bring in a new coach, like that was the story last year coming into this year. Now we're rolling it over again, and these are the things that terrify you when you have a prospect like Zion. We're like, oh no, we're just rebuilding, like we're gonna get there, we're building around him. Like, bro, we said that last year, and this looks like this is just what the Pelicans are, a constant state of
walking 2 years away.
Yes, it's brutal to watch.
It is. Well, I mean, the defense.
And that's what you brought Van Gundy in for.
The lack of defense. I mean, some things are good to watch. You know, I mean, like the way that they use Zion and the development of Zion. But all in all, I mean, the team is very disconnected. They're very inconsistent. They're very
blowing leads.
They cannot hold on to a lead. And that's just because of their lack of defense. I mean, they go through stretches where it looks like a pickup game. I mean, it just looks like a
let me catch some air on this other end.
Absolutely. I mean, where they're just kind of getting runouts and snowbirds, and it's not a good form of basketball to watch, really.
If I hand you those keys to that car, what's your building strategy around Zion? Do you just go with the classic, like we just need to surround him with shooting? Or do you, I mean, I would say Brandon Ingram is as close to having a 1-2 punch as you can get in New Orleans. Like, we're not going to be able to get, when you look at what Phoenix did, like, Chris Paul's not coming back here. There's not that many players that you can grab and, like, all right, we need not like an aging superstar, but somebody that can still get you 20 and 10.
Absolutely. And I always thought that J.J. Redick, somebody like him, was going to be a perfect fit with what they were trying to do, and especially with who Zion was, with this kind of penetrate and pitch type guy where he could suck up all the defense and then shoot it out to, or pitch it out to shooters that are set up and ready to fire. And for whatever reason, it just never translated. I'm like you. I think that Brandon Ingram, I think Ingram is a superstar, though. I think that he's an absolute bona fide superstar. And
he's up there with Tatum.
Him working along, he's kind of Kevin Durant 2.0.
People say that, but I'm just not seeing it. Like, I see the build type and I see the way he scores, but it's just not consistent. He just seems.
Well, I mean, he checks
I don't want
in
to
and
say.
out. He checks
That's what I'm
in
saying.
and
He seems
out.
uninterested because, and this is what Russillo said, which I hadn't really caught on, but since he said I've been watching the Pels, he was like, I don't know how thrilled they are that they gave the keys to Zion. Like, Brandon Ingram was the star. That's why he came here. That's why he signed long term. And then Zion comes out of nowhere. But you have to appreciate those kind of things when you have another guy with you, because if he leaves, it's because, well, they never put anybody around me.
I just don't understand what Ingram would be looking for as far as, like, the structure of a roster. Anywhere you go and win, it's going to take a big 2 or a big 3 to really win.
That's just the
and
way the
you've
league's
got
constructed.
a guy here who's in the early days of his career that's developing into something that just, the rest of the world doesn't have, and you're allowed to play alongside of him. I just think that it would make a lot of sense from Ingram. But, I mean, there's a lot of egos in that room. There's a lot of massaging that part of the chemistry that goes a little unsaid and unseen, and maybe it's not working out behind closed. I don't know that, but I mean, it does seem like they're just checked out for extended amounts of time while they're out there, and I don't know. I think that they should be a lot better. I just think that they should be, when you look at the makeup and the skill set. I mean, even Lonzo Ball had a triple-double last night.
I was just going to say, Ball getting a better 3 would help them so much. I mean, there's been times where he's hit 7 threes in a game, But being able to consistently hit a three, catch and shoot does so much for that offense.
And I think that's why they kept him. They saw that his potential to kind of work off the ball and be able to still distribute. His skill set makes sense. He just needs to be more consistent. It's maddening watching that team because you see the names and the players, and it's just like, well, they're just not putting it together at all. And it seems, but then they have nights where they score 130, and you're like, this team could beat anybody. Yeah.
145.
I mean, when it doesn't mean anything, when it seemingly doesn't, have anything on the line, I mean, they look like the Jordan Bulls team.
That's like, when you talk about pickup, if that team showed up at the rec, dude, you'd be terrified.
Are you kidding? AAU tournament.
Just open gym?
Yes.
But that's not what they do.
So we'll see. Pelicans off tonight after a back-to-back. I believe they're in OKC on Friday.
Hot OKC.
Is when they'll get back to work.
Oh, no, the Wizards are hot. My bad. I get confused where Russell is.
Yeah. They're still terrible.
Yeah, but they got hot.
But no, they're at Oklahoma City tonight.
Yeah. Back-to-back.
Yeah.
I'm going to take Jokic as the MVP. They've been 7-1 since Jamal Murray tore his ACL. If they can stay hot, I think he's going to take over Embiid.
He is a
do it all.
Golly, he's a hell of a talent. I mean, when you watch him play, just everything he brings to the game. I mean, he can do it all.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he can do it all, man. And he's one of the best. I guess he would be the closest to Dirk, modern day.
He can bring the ball up.
He can just do so much stuff.
He's different than Dirk, though. It's much more.
He's a point center.
Yeah, the passing is it's so fine tuned. Yeah, he's a point center, and once he got off the cola, dude, he looks great. Like
he does, bro.
He was drinking 2 liters of cola a day.
Was he?
Yeah, or something. It was something insane, and they're like, bro, you got to cut that out, man.
Well, he's from Serbia.
Yeah, it's like I'm sure
capitalist goods.
Yeah, I'm sure it was like he probably had a stockpile heavyweights, had to hide it under the bed, but. I mean, yeah, he has such a foreign skill set, and I mean that because he played that's how foreigners play basketball.
Yeah,
he
can plays very international.
Yeah, like Luka.
Yeah,
I love it.
He's got that teardrop, dude. That rainbow shot just falls in.
That's what I want Trendon Watford to be like.
Transfer rule for Division I is officially enacted as the D1 Board of Directors ratified and adopted the legislation expanding the one-time transfer exception to all student athletes. So it's official. The rule is now effective and applies to all student athletes who want to transfer for the first time throughout the next academic school year. If a student has previously transferred, the waiver process is available as well. So that is official here on this Thursday morning. And as we said, the big news, 100% capacity for LSU sports. Scott Woodward was here. Remember to check out all of these interviews from the day. Mike Triplett was here this morning talking the New Orleans Saints and NFL draft. Scott Woodward was talking LSU sports at 8 a.m. And then we talked to Megan Making Money in here about a couple of draft day props and some Major League Baseball and Kentucky Derby plays. So enjoy your Thursday out there as Daily Road presented by Ghost Chevrolet. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning. We'll be over at LaBerge tonight. I'm going to be with Ben Mintz. Mintz is going to be over at LaBerge watching the NFL draft. It'll be cool. We'll be putting out some content and some videos there from LaBerge. But if you're looking for a place to get out and watch the draft, come stop by and check out an evening with Mintz and I over at LaBerge checking out the NFL draft. For Lizzie, for Jack, for Nick handling our social media, Katie, who was in the first hour, will be back with you tomorrow morning. Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered every single day by Go Chevrolet.
Jamar Chase is a Bengal tomorrow.